Today we're going to talk about the muscular system, particularly the skeletal muscles, which are considered voluntary muscles controlled by the human brain. So let's do it by region. So let's start with the head and neck muscles. So you can hear they're labeled frontalis, temporalis muscle, and of course you have here the orbicularis oculi, which is found around the eyeball or the eye. You have your zygomatis major, which is the smiling muscle, okay, and you have your orbicularis oris surrounding the mouth, okay, and then of course you have other bones there. The big one here for mastication or chewing is called the masseter, okay. Other bones found are the mentalis. Mentalis means under the chin. Now in the neck area you have what we call the platysmal muscle on both sides, which are superficial muscles, which in fact are actually called part of the facial muscles. Now, if I remove the platysma, here is a big muscle called the Sternocleidomastoid, both sides. If I virtually dissect the platysma, you can see the Sternocleidomastoid. It's attached to the sternum. Claydom is clavicle, and then mastoid to the temporal muscular process of the temporal bone. Aside from the sternocleidomastoid, you have all the other muscles attached to the hyoid bone, sternohyoid, omohyoid. Okay? Now, in the area of the chest, you have here the muscles called the Pectoralis Major. And if you remove the major, you have the Pectoralis Minor. And below here, you have your external oblique muscle. Underneath would be the internal oblique. And then, of course, under that will be the deepest muscle called the transversus abdominis. In the midline, you're probably familiar with the word six-pack muscle called the rectus abdominis. So these are the rectus abdominis muscles. They're important. Now let's go to the upper limb muscles. The first one here is the deltoid muscle. Okay. In front of the arm is the bicep brachii. Biceps means two heads. Brachii means arm. And of course, at the back of that would be your triceps brachii. Triceps means three heads, and then brachii means arm. And in the forearm, you have all these muscles. Either they are what we call extensors or what we call flexors. So we will go over this eventually in detail, but not now. We'll just go over some of these muscles. Mostly the flexor muscles are found in the anterior compartment. Okay, so we have all these muscles there. And of course, those are muscles of the upper limb. On the other hand, the lower limb muscles, as you can see here, are made up of the front muscle of the thigh is called the quadriceps, made up of the rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, vastus medialis. And if I remove the rectus femoris, you can see the vastus intermedius. So four muscles makes quad. Quad means four. Aside from that, you have the iliotibial band muscle there, sartorius, and the adductor longus, the pectineus muscle, and of course the psoas major muscle, and gracilis on the medial compartment. Okay. Now, if I remove the adductor longus, you have the adductor brevis there, and if I remove the pectineus, you have the adductor magnus. Okay. So let's go down here in the leg. We'll just concentrate on what we call the tibialis interior for ankle dorsiflexion. And at the back, you have the. Start first with the leg muscles at the back, gastrocnemius, and then the soleus muscle. On the side of the leg, you have the fibulous longus, which are everters, and other extensors. So notice the tibialis interior is for dorsiflexion of the ankle, while the gastrocnemius and soleus make up the ankle plantar flexors. At the back of the thigh, you have the hamstrings, made up of the vastus. You have the biceps femoris long head, and then you have here the semitendinosus and the semimembranosus. So these three make up your hamstring. Biceps femoris, semimembranosus, and semitendinosus. In the butt area, you have the Gluteus Maximus, which is the hip extensor. And then, of course, your Gluteus Medius is there. There we go. And then, of course, Gluteus Minimus